My son belongs to a Canarian wrestling team, a traditional sport, and the problem they have is that they don't have enough equipment. They get this one, the town hall gives them this one for when they compete, but they haven't got extras for when they train. So we're going to make a few for him, us, and his friends. And that's what the video is about. I'm going to trace the pattern of this one, which is a size 8, and then I'm going to scale it down to a size 6, and then what else? I'm going to mass produce a few of them for my son and his friends. As you can see, this is massive. This even will be big on me almost. And the thing is that, for example, this is a size 8 for 8 years old, and my son has a pair of trousers from a size 6. Which is ridiculous. So this one I don't have to trace the pattern, I already have it, but the rest I do. The good thing is that when I went there, they gave me, I could measure a size 12, so I have a 12 and an 8, and my idea is to see the centimeters difference they have, and from that trace the patterns. I think this goes odd sizes, and there are many shops, and when you go, you can see they have only odd sizes, only size 4, size 6, size 8, and I think this is the same. And apart from that, they are massive, they are much bigger than a normal size. The problem for me has been that there isn't any information about this. If you want to recreate a pattern, you can see standard sizes for children, but this one I couldn't find any information about the pattern or the measurements, anything, and they are much bigger than what a normal size would be. But now that I have a size 12 and a size 8, I can see the difference and trace from there. So that's going to be good. And the trousers are quite fun because they are just straight panels, and then in the middle, in the crotch line, they have this square of fabric that makes this crotch. So it's not like a normal trousers, it hasn't got this drawing. It's just like a traditional pair of trousers, like a traditional costume. So let's start. As I was imagining, the difference of centimeters is 2 in almost every measurement, except for the sleeves and the neckline. It is 2 centimeters. So it's a sort of a standard thing that you cut down on 1 centimeter per size. So this is more or less like that because I have odd sizes. So now that I know, and I'm sure, I'm going to trace the one for size 6 for a 6-year-old and trace it on my paper. Well, I have my tracing paper, and one thing that always happens is that they're always too small. But if you go to the haberdashery to get special paper for sewers, it is ever so expensive. They only bring like 4 little sheets and you end up spending a lot of money. It is not worth it, in my opinion. It is marvelous. I've had 150 meters one from Burda, and it's amazing, but it's ever so expensive. So what I do is that I have painter's tape by hand always in the sewing room, and it is really useful because you can write on top of it. So if at any point you have to trace a line or write anything right where your tape is, you don't have the problem like if it was sellotape. Sorry, it's 11 at night. Excuse my English, it's 11 at night. So you don't have the problem of not being able to write on top of your tape. So that's a little tip. Well, to be honest, I've never done this before. Like, maybe you make yourself a skirt and you need more size or anything like that, like you can scale it. But I've never done it like properly, like I need to go to a size X or whatever, so it's new for me. I've been a bit nervous about doing this project because that's the thing, I didn't have anything to compare it to. I'm doing it just like I think it goes. So I hope it turns out great and people are happy with it. And of course, I also have the sleeve, which is a very simple sleeve. It hasn't got any shape at all. I mean, front or back, it's just the same. I measured it, I've been tracing it for a while, and it is the same. Then I have the collar, which is just a rectangle of fabric again, and I'm going to leave it as the 8-year-old one. And then what I can do is just cut a bit of fabric if I want it a bit smaller. And one thing I was careful as well to trace was this. This is to reinforce the neckline on the inside. It goes with top stitching. I think it's going to be easy to sew, I hope. And I'm going to leave it as it is because it doesn't really matter, I think, if it's wider or not. What matters is that the length, if you want it lower for all the children or a bit up. So I think I can trace it from there, so I don't think I have to change much from that. So let's cut the fabric. Así que a cortar la tela. My fabric, it's ever so heavy. I got, which is apparently the one you have to get, a twill, a sort of almost like a raincoaty kind of fabric. And what's interesting about having to do 3 of the same is that you can cut them at the same time, so that's good. And then for sewing it's the same, but I'm going to cut first, then I'll tell you about the sewing later. Stay there. So this is 150 wide. So let's start. So I thought I wasn't going to need it, but in the end I traced the pattern for the trousers as well, because I realized when folding them that it has a sort of curve. If you get rid of the crotch little square, you see it's not straight. So I traced it, and now I'm realizing that it's a whole thing. It hasn't got side seams. This is just an ornament because it hasn't got anything. So easier to sew then. So I'm going to trace it from the middle bit here. I have, and it should be fine. And now it's the time of sewing, and I've been thinking for a long time in which order I should do this because I have nowhere to look it up. And I'm going to start with the neckline facing, so I can then put together the shirt by the shoulders, and as it is open, I'm going to sew the sleeves. Why open? This is something you do with t-shirts and elastic sort of jersey materials, not with shirts, but I want to do flat fell seams, and doing that with a closed sleeve, it must be impossible. I haven't tried, I'm not willing to. So I'm going to do it with the sleeve, with the shirt open, so I can then flat fell the seams and then sew the side all at once, from the sleeve down to the bottom. And I'm going to be doing all of this to 4 equipments. I think I said 3 yesterday, but no, it's 4 of them. So I'm going to do the facing to the 4 of them, then the shoulders to the 4 of them, the sleeves to the 4 of them, because it's not going to be sewing 4, it's not going to be like sewing only 1, but once you've sewn 1, you know what you're doing, and you are really fast doing the rest. So let's see how long I take. And now the sewing. What's interesting about this is not what I'm sewing, but the seams and the techniques I'm going to be using. It's something that needs to be strong and sturdy, so I'm going to be using a lot of stop stitching and flat fell seams a bit further on. So for example, this to make the neckline stronger, it's a facing. So for this, I'm going to sew all around the neckline inside out, so then I can cut the corners, put it right size out, and then start top stitching all around the edge. And then to finish, I'm going to make like a sort of drawing here, so it's a bit stronger, so all the pulling doesn't make the shirt to come apart. So this is my first seam, and the rest of the seams are going to be flat fell, as I said, because they are sturdier. And I got the idea from one of my husband's shirts. It's a Levi, it's really nice. We got it in an outlet. It was such an opportunity. And all the seams are flat felt. So when you put it inside out, you don't see any seams, you don't have any risk of anything fraying, and it's really nice. It gives it a really nice finish. So I'm going to do the same with shoulders, sleeves and side seams. Well, this is how it's looking, all open. This is the inside. And now I'm going to sew the sleeves from the shoulder seam to one side and to the other. The sleeves hasn't got any shape at all. I think I said it, but I don't want them to twist or move or turn or anything. So I'm going to be doing that, leaving seam allowance to then trim one of the sides and fold and all of this. And the thing about sewing in batch is this: you just need to do the same step all the times you need to, so you avoid silly trips and doing things more than once. You just do all the cutting and all the sewing and that. And because of course I want to fold towards the shoulder, which is more structure, that's the one I'm cutting. The shoulder one, so the sleeve falls on top. And with the sleeve seam, I can now sew the side seams and then trim one of the edges so I can fold on top of it with the other one. Día siguiente. Well, next day, this is such a mess, it's unbelievable. And I have here the collars. They are just a rectangle of fabric that I have to close on the side. So I'm going to close them so then I can put them right sides out, and I'm going to press them so they are easier to sew on the necklines. Now the trousers, the problem with the trousers, well, not problem, the problem is with the trousers is that it hasn't got a crotch line, but this square here. So I'm going to start by sewing one side on and at the height I want it, and then the same one I'm going to fold so I can sew it on the same panel of trousers. And then after that, to sew the other panel, I have to wrap it, being careful that the seams look the same way. That's the most difficult or trickiest bit. And then hem it nicely so it doesn't unravel all this inside, and put the little reinforcement square here so when it opens so it doesn't break here. And then the top has a cord and then the hemming. And with all of this sewing, all the shirts and all the trousers, I have finished this batch. Let me know down in the comments if you've liked the scaling and the way of sewing this all together. And don't forget to subscribe so that way no one misses anything. I think it's been an interesting video regarding all the seams and all the scaling. So let me know what you thought and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.